Yeah. Hello, I am Laura Victoria Ward, and I am here with Liz Koch at the fabulous Moving Body Resources Studio in New York City. And we are interested in talking about creativity.
Yeah! Play and creativity.
And showing up.
Yeah. Yeah. So where do you want to begin?
Well, let's just...
This is the spontaneous moment
Yes.
we're talking about, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So Liz and I just did a workshop together over the weekend that was called Stalking Wild SOAS, Dance Your SOAS Home. And it was the first time we had collaborated together, and we were not sure how it would play out. But we have both, I have taken a lot of Liz Koch workshops, and we have been together in continuum workshops. And we took a risk, and it ended up working out quite well because both of us like to show up and see what happens.
Yeah, that's a really interesting dynamic, to trust the innate process. So, because my focus is the SOAS, and that is about really your animal body, your expression, your ability to be responsive. To me, that is what it is, to just show up and see what happens. And then you were saying that, you know, there's a certain level of confidence that we both have gained through all the years we've taught. So that plays some part in it, whereas when you're new at teaching, you're trying to structure it and hold it.
I think that preparation is super important, but the preparation is the education and the lifetime of doing the work that you have. And I remember when I first started teaching ballet classes, I would write down the entire class. And then I would get there, and the people who showed up for class were never going to be able to do, the class I had made was not appropriate for them. So I had to instantly adjust and create something that worked in the moment for them at the time. And that, I'm very comfortable with that. Playing.
But see, I think that's the honest form of teaching. Because when I might like have this excitement to do something, but again, when people show up that aren't regular, I'm not teaching a regular class, I'm teaching a workshop class or a one-day class format, two-day format, I have to be available. So to me, the process is the availability, and to feel what is needed in that moment is a honing of, well, it's a honing of play in a way. It's like when kids get together on the corner and they come up with a game. You know, I mean, in a similar way, I play the same way. You don't know why you're all coming together exactly, and I do know they want to know about their SOAS, but so I, you know, like today I just did a class, and what I asked people to do when they came in after we all gathered was, tell me something you know about the SOAS. And each person told me something different, but what that reflected for me was that then I kind of got a sense of what they knew, or what they were interested in, like what was the key thing that they were bringing to the workshop. And then we just went off from there.
Yeah, and this, I have taken several workshops with Liz and recall arriving at the workshop thinking, oh, I'm going to learn this, I'm going to learn that, and then Liz was like, well, what are you here to learn?
Mm-hmm.
What are you here to know? And I think that all teaching to me is balancing what I want to teach, what I think the people want to know, and the dance of that, of how best can we integrate these two desires and goals and play with it so that it's still entertaining. And when I'm teaching, I feel like entertaining is maybe a bad word, but to me, entertaining is important. I don't want to be in a class that I'm bored. I know that learning is way more effective when you're having fun. So I feel like I'm always tuning into my own sensation to decide where we go from here. Yeah.
So we were talking about creativity and the importance of creativity in health, in vitality, in expression, and as a resource. And we were talking about that ability to hone the play that allows for the parasympathetic to really show up, versus, and what happens to people who are too kind of structured in their format of either what they expect out of the class, what they want to participate in the class, what they bring to the class, or in how we we teach. So where creativity lies in that has to have some unknown. It has to have some unfamiliar. It has to have some place where, you know, the map is not the terrain, so therefore you have to be in the terrain and be responsive to the terrain. And to me, the rewilding of SOAs, which is what I'm kind of focused on these days, is that ability to really learn to play again. To play not a game, win or loser, but to play.
Yeah.
And you're a player.
I
really had a good time playing.
I did too.
Yeah,
and
it's so fun
yeah.
to play with somebody else who's willing to take a chance to play.
Yeah, who's going to meet you on
Yeah.
a level. So I want to talk about the first exercise that Liz brought that was a partnered exercise in the workshop. And she really did the first exercise that was partnered. We'd been in our bodies for a good part of the day, and we had worked with lifting our sternums and moving from our heart. And then she brings in a ball to practice lifting your heart and playing with your own lift and rise with the ball against the wall, and then with a partner. And this was like, this is what I love about Liz, is that, and you've said it, that you invite the element of chaos. Because there really isn't a risk if we don't go to those places that we don't know about. If we always play in the safe pool, nothing changes. But when we jump around in the waves a little bit, things happen, and change becomes more.
And you know more your potential.
You know what,
You know, like whether you can handle the waves or you can't handle the waves, and if you can't, you start saying help.
Yeah, you can bow out. But so we did this exercise, and Liz and I ended up doing it together. Puts the ball on my
pushing each
chest,
other around.
pushing each other back and forth.
To do between two teachers.
It's great, and to be invited, especially as a mover, to really meet a person in movement who's going to show up and be there is very exciting. So as a choreographer and somebody teaching dance a lot, getting people, like if you give me your hand and I pull on you, I can take you with me, or you can resist and pull back. Right, so then there's a dance, and like it can go anywhere. It could, and she can resist or she can go with. So this thing can become much more than what we think it is. And I feel like that's the work of the somatic work as well. It's like, whoa, let yourself be surprised and find out where can we go. Whereas if I take her hand, or take me, and I'm going to be a noodle, and there's no presence
There's
with
no
it.
connection.
There's nothing to connect to. It's very disappointing. Yeah, it is. It's like, as a person who likes to play and show up and be like, okay, let's play.
It's so true.
So when Liz and I had this ball between our chests, she's like, come on, bring it on, push me. And I'm like, okay. She was meeting me 100%. I feel like that's such an important thing, to show up, participate, and meet the people. Where
I didn't know that. I didn't know I was going to do that.
I know.
I didn't know what I was going to do.
Yeah.
And it just came up. And I think it came up because, I don't know, it's just, you kind of got to get on with it, right? And
Yes.
This was a play workshop. This was a dance workshop.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like a healing, people could come if they were injured and they could rest and dance in tiny micro movements. But the group that showed up, I didn't know how much they wanted to play, but in a way, it was like, let's get on with it, and then we'll find out. And then if that doesn't work, I'll have to rethink about what I'm doing. But it never occurred to me that would be confronted.
But
It never occurred to me, honest to God, it never occurred to me that I was being confronted. It just seemed like a good way to get our hearts open and get ourselves getting going.
And from like the movement analysis Laban perspective, like, showing up like this with a person is I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you.
I'm seen.
Yeah, you are seen, and we feel good about that. But if we were like here together looking at that, it would be very safe and different. Or if we're back to back, it's like there are different ways to
back to back.
Yeah, to meet. Let's get rid of the chairs first. Oh, just a side chair. We're gonna have to get really low, squat, and back to back. Oh, we're probably gonna go out of frame.
We're gonna go out of frame.
Go ahead and push, push, push.
Oh.
Yeah, Liz gives back.
Oh, yes.
So anyway, we did get to backs also.
We did. And fingers.
And fingertips. And we did
one of the things that you did I really liked was I curled, we did a piece about curling into the fetal curl, returning to landing, to feeling deep in ourselves. The return is such a biomorphic, embryological expression of core, so as And we went into it, and then Laura brought us out into touching someone's fingertips.
Like a very light touch.
With eyes closed or not.
Eyes closed or not, just feeling into the sensation in your own body, lightest possible touch, and allowing the connection between you and your partner to really enliven. And to try not to control the connection or any movement that arises, but be open to anything that happens. So, yeah, Liz has got the tentacles going.
Yeah.
So it can arise, you're letting movement happen without forcing it or making a plan of where it's going to go. You're just feeling into what's happening and feeling into your own body, your own comfort, and your partner. So there's a little dance of very light touch, fingertips, opening movement into the body as a way of meeting.
And I thought it was a surprising way of going about it, because normally when people go into fetal curl and they go deep in themselves, they need a transitional time to come out and participate again. You know, a cup of tea, a walk, some, you know. And we went right from being deep inside into meeting another person, not in any confrontive way, but in this way of almost like the unfolding of the ability to really show up in the room as who you are right now, deep inside yourself, which is a beautiful contrast of staying centered and yet meeting the world.
And I feel like for me, that's one of the most important things about this work, is not just going into a room or into a little cubby and doing it by yourself or with a few other people and then going out and being somebody different, but really taking the information, the learning in your body and being able to bring it out into the world so that it's, the field in your body is more alive and you're not constricting and shutting it down as soon as you go back into your normal life, but that this becomes the normal life, the presence becomes the normal life.
No, it was really strong for me, because I was in the process too. And first it was like, really, we're going to go there? You know, like, wait a minute, you know, like, come back to us. And then I just did. And I just, you know, so I didn't have to show up in some, you know, way I thought I should show up. I couldn't. I was too deep inside myself. I just had to show up with a couple hands and touch fingers and let it be whatever it is. And that's very authentic. It was very rich for me and something I would have never thought to do, so I really loved it.
Yes.
One of the things we wanted to talk about was how both of us have taught for quite a while, and we're both at a stage in our teaching where we don't need a structure so much as we just need to show up and be responsive. And so that's what we both did. We didn't really plan what each of us were going to do. We just said, we're going to meet there, we're going to go there, and we're going to play.
Yeah, Liz told me in the morning, so I think probably I'll start with a somatic piece and then maybe we can go into a movement piece. And then we ended up getting there and not everybody was there, and Liz was like, go ahead and start with the movement piece.
Yeah.
So sort of out of the blue, I was like, okay, I'm just cueing a be in your body, land in the space, become aware of whatever you're becoming aware of, improv. And then we went and moved into more somatic things after everyone had arrived, which took a while.
Yeah, people had different problems getting there and stuff. So we gathered, and because we weren't a really huge group, we could spend time just being responsive to the group that we had. And I think the idea of the play that we wanted to convey was that the spontaneity, certainly for the soul, as for the core tissue, is a way of being in life. It's a parasympathetic state that allows us to respond to the cues and the events and things that are happening. The pre-plannedness doesn't really work. So showing up is a big piece of what we were both talking about, and how we showed up for each other. And I felt really met each time you showed up. You know, I'd look across the room and, and you just take over and run with it. And it was really fun to weave back and forth and see, which I don't usually do because there's usually more structure that's needed, and so then I feel like, you know, it's better to separate. But we just really played.
Yeah, we totally played. And I feel like the somatic work, especially the continuum work and the taking a long, slow time to be present in sensation in your body allows you so much trust to be in the truth of your body.
Yes.
And if you're feeling the truth of your body, you can sense the truth of the resonation of everybody else in the field.
I think so.
So I feel like we were able to move with that a lot.
Yeah, it was good.
We don't know where we were.
We don't know where we're going.
It's true. Perfect.
But we're willing.
Well, we're gonna have a good time, especially if we're on the same train or whatever, the same channel.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I just want to say thank you to Liz Koch for working with me and talking with me and being available to show up. And I do, support is something that I've really been thinking about, and empowerment.
Yeah.
And I think we talk a lot about it, but there aren't a lot of people that I think really offer it. So I definitely have found a lot of support and empowerment from working with you and learning from you. So I want to thank you. Yeah.
And I found a playmate.
Yes, definitely.
And there aren't a lot of playmates out there because people have too many issues to deal with, and it's not that we don't all have issues, but when they're really going to bog us down, it's hard to respond to. But I have found the way out of that is through play. So it's a kind of contradiction. The more I play, the more I'm capable of playing.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just showing up, seeing what's happening, get messy,
Yeah.
and trust that our hearts are in it for the right reasons.
Yes.
And so there's no malice, there's no one, there's no acting out.
Yeah.
We're just playing. And that happens with kids. If you act out, the play falls apart or it gets rough and tough and people go home crying. And nobody went home crying. We all laughed and enjoyed and played.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I can't wait for the video to come out.
Oh,
We created a little play.
a little dance.
A little dance
movement choir.
Movement,
A
movement
London
choir.
style movement choir.
It was
brought to it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was fun, and
Yeah.
they enjoyed participating.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a nice. I've never done something like that, so it was really fun.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Woo!